success stories to come out of WWE NXT. They've been hitting it with the New Day. They've been hitting it with Bo Dallas. They've been hitting it with people like Wade Barrett and Rusev and Alberto Del Rio all the time. The Lucha Dragons, when they were around before that injury. Unfortunately, the Sin Cara, they've been doing a great job recreating these stars, and I hope they keep running with the idea and pushing the whole idea of the New Day being on top. I mean, who out there isn't a fan of the New Day? They are so fucking awesome. That is such an undeniable thing. You cannot go without denying this or recognizing that the New Day are so entertaining. I mean, what more needs to be said about these guys? And that's why I'm still putting out video blogs on the New Day all the time, because they are a team that you just have to notice and you have to give the benefit of the doubt to, because you cannot go on without giving them the benefit of the doubt, because they are just so fucking entertaining. I mean, what team out there in wrestling, from whatever wrestling organization that you are a fan of, even if it is TNA or Ring of Honor, is as entertaining as these guys? They're not as entertaining as the New Day, and that's why they are on top. WWE, obviously, it's been said, don't know what they are doing, but they obviously do. When a team like the New Day is being received like they are, and fans are responding to the New Day, and as long as fans are giving something in the way of a reaction towards a team like the New Day, obviously they are serving their purpose and they are doing their jobs really well, because they are put there to get on our nerves. And as long as they are put there to get on our nerves, based on the track record of champions we've seen for respective divisions, as long as you can get on our nerves, you're going to be champion and you're going to be on top for a really long time. And ultimately, who deserves the credit for creating the New Day into the stars they are now? It's not Dwayne Johnson, it's not the Dudley Boys, it's you, the wrestling fans, because you made the decision to turn on the New Day when they first showed up. They weren't as entertaining when they first showed up as fan favorites. They came out with an outburst of energy like you would expect them to do off their promos, and once they got recognized by wrestling fans, the interest in the New Day seemed to have went away. And then WWE Creative realized they had to do something to change things around for the New Day. They had to change the direction, and they turned them into heel characters. And then the wrestling fans just started responding with New Day sucks. The fans are what made the New Day, and if not for the fans responding the way they did to the New Day, then we probably wouldn't be seeing what's happening here for them. So you guys can take all the credit. If you want to go that route of creating the New Day into the stars they are, you guys could have kept being fan favorites of the New Day, and yeah, we probably would have seen one title reign of the New Day as tag team champions, but we kind of would have brushed that off and forgotten about it, because another team like the Dudleys would have obviously returned and taken those straps. But with the fans turning on the New Day, something so unpredictable and so fun to watch has been created. Everything from the promos to Xavier Woods coming out and playing the trumpet, either the Pink Panther theme or the theme of the New Day Rocks. It's awesome. The Rock and all of you guys have reminded us just how much the New Day are obviously over with WWE and going to continue to be on the road to WrestleMania, which is getting more fun and more unpredictable all the time. I am really excited as a wrestling fan, which is why I often reiterate, if there ever was a time to be a fan of professional wrestling, that time is now. There's never been a better time for fans to get into the wrestling product, even if you aren't a wrestling fan. Reasons obviously are because of the New Day and what Seth Rollins did before he went down with a major injury. And here's the thing, when you have main events with the New Day where they're losing, putting over Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, the remnants of the Shield, because of all these injuries and tag team wrestling and of course singles competition, it's great, and it's only a matter of time before they start winning matches again. The reason why they have to start winning matches, if they're in a big match on the WrestleMania card, they cannot afford to be losing all these matches all the time, and you just have to create something special because of all these injuries. Can you ever remember a time where we've had so many wrestlers on the DL, Randy Orton, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Sting, Sin Cara, affecting so many different divisions in WWE? Nikki Bella just recently joined that list for the Divas division, one of the more popular Divas as champion. She held the title somewhat over 302 plus days as champion or something like that. It's amazing, that we have so many wrestlers on the DL. Very unfortunate this close to WrestleMania, but you just have to create something, and obviously all these injuries have sparked an opportunity in WWE to push teams like the New Day, who obviously probably wouldn't be being pushed if it weren't for all these injuries. So at least something is happening creatively in WWE, which at a time we believed had lost all their creative edge because of what they were putting out. I mean, there weren't people on top you wanted to see as champion, obviously, that had a lot to do with psychology, and that's why we saw people like The Miz on top and why we're seeing Triple H now as both COO and champion. Not a really big fan of that. More so a fan of what's happening here with the New Day than I am finding out what's happening with Triple H and either Dean Ambrose or Triple H and Roman Reigns. Either way it's going to go, even if it was Brock Lesnar winning this triple threat match, I can't say I would be entertained to find out what's going to be happening at the WrestleMania main event this year. If it was Dean Ambrose, I probably would have a little bit of interest going in to the WrestleMania main event because I've always been a big fan of Dean Ambrose for how he reminds me of Brian Pillman and has that same kind of crazy attitude that Brian Pillman had for years. So if it was Dean Ambrose, I'd have a little bit of minimal interest for this year's WrestleMania main event, but more so now where my interest lies is with the New Day for everything they are doing. They are so fucking annoying, but in the same regard, on the other side of the coin, if the tail side of the coin says they are annoying, the head side of the coin says they are just as equally as entertaining, and that equally interesting to watch. And I think if there ever was a time to be a fan of either the New Day or just the professional wrestling product, the time is now, with the conversation exploding and the New Day all over Instagram, talking about what they did with The Rock. The promo has been watched millions of times over on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, you got to go check it out, how The Rock put over the New Day, which is why I really wish The Rock would put over people like Daniel Bryan and Bo Dallas and people like Adam Rose and Rusev and Alberto Del Rio, who obviously need that push. I'd love to see The Rock doing something with the League of Nations. It would be interesting to see the Usos and The Rock facing at least 3 members of the League of Nations if you weren't going to have a team of John Cena as the captain facing the League of Nations for WrestleMania, if it wasn't going the way of The Rock's team facing the New Day at WrestleMania. But, I thought first off, to be honest with you, this wasn't going to work. The New Day and The Rock and the Usos facing off in a 6-man tag team match. But now that I think about it and think back on just the psychology and what could be created from all of this, I think it's interesting. It's far more interesting than anything we have going on right now. I mean, who is really interested in Kalisto as a singles wrestler competing against Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship, a championship that obviously should be still around the waist of John Cena. He should either be in an 8-man tag team match or he should be in a title match at WrestleMania against someone like Alberto Del Rio. I mean, who really is interested in seeing Kalisto as the replacement for John Cena for an opponent for Del Rio for the United States Championship? Nobody is really interested in that, and nobody is really interested in seeing Triple H as champion for the 14th time. I mean, it's been years since we've seen Triple H. What's it been, like 8 years since Triple H was last champion? 2009, something like 7 or 8 years since he was champion. So nobody is really interested in what's happening in storylines or in the other divisions in WWE. Where the interest lies right now, I think it's safe to say, is with tag team wrestling. And I don't think I'm wrong in having said anything I have about the current state of WWE. Just before Christmas, I posted a column for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke talking about the state of WWE before Triple H was champion. And it seems like the state of WWE, in my efforts to kind of better it, has only worsened it, because since I posted that column on the state of WWE, things have gotten worse for both the United States title division and WWE, with the COO now as champion, saying in a promo in a celebration of becoming champion in the fallout of this year's Royal Rumble after having won it as the number 30 entrant, producing another winner at the coveted number 30 spot, which has produced just as many winners as the number 1 spot over the years, which belonged to Roman Reigns. I think that this is just ridiculous. It's only worse than WWE, and it makes WWE and Triple H look far more ridiculous with him as champion and COO at the same time, which brings him back to when William Regal was both the Raw general manager and the 2008 King of the Ring Award winner and the most powerful entity in WWE. He said in his promo that he's going to be champion for as long as he wants, and nobody can do anything about it. So hopefully something will happen for professional wrestling outside of the championship division and its contenders and whoever the champion is. And I'm talking about the tag team division, because I can't ever remember a time when tag team wrestling has been this entertaining to watch. Now, if I had to make a prediction given his tweet and what he's been Instagramming and posting on Facebook, The Rock's team teaming with the Usos or whoever he faces or teams with at WrestleMania, obviously the match with The Rock involved will go to The Rock and his teammates if there's a team involved in this and we see a 6-man tag team match or something along those lines, where the New Day would obviously be involved. The Rock obviously would get over, because keep in mind the last time The Rock wrestled was in 2013. That's a difference of 3 years. And because The Rock has not wrestled in over 3 years, I think it's safe to get away with predicting The Rock would win at WrestleMania 32 this year, because it's been a long time, feeling like forever, for a lot of wrestling fans since we've seen The Rock compete. So I think I can get away with saying The Rock is going to be the one who comes in on top. But I would like to see the New Day benefit somehow, either heading into WrestleMania or in the fallout of WrestleMania this year, even if it was a third championship reign as tag team champions. I also really appreciate, too, how all three of them are tag team champions. Sometimes it's Big E Langston and Xavier Woods. Sometimes it's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E Langston defending the titles, kind of like how the Spirit Squad did it back in 2006 after defeating Kane and the Big Show for the tag team titles in an absolute shocker. And then we saw Mike Mondo and, of course, Kenny Dykstra as tag team champions. And it would go from Kenny Dykstra and Mike Mondo to somebody else from the 5 members of the Spirit Squad defending the titles, and they would go back and forth. But the difference is from 3 to 5 members now, we're just seeing 3 members as tag team champions. Really appreciate that psychology because you don't know who are going to be involved in the main events, like we've seen in recent weeks with Dean Ambrose and the Roman Reigns, the remnants of the Shield facing different members of the New Day. You don't know who's going to be in the matches, who's going to be defending the titles. And I really appreciate that psychology. That same psychology was used for Survivor Series last year when Kane and The Undertaker had that reunion against the Wyatts. We didn't know what 2 members of the Wyatts until Survivor Series were stepping up against the Brothers of Destruction. So I hope they keep with that unpredictable idea of having different members of factions as tag team champions. It's very unpredictable, and it makes it far more exciting because you're purchasing pay-per-views, you're subscribing to networks, you're talking about it on social media, and you're doing what they want us to do. You're creating conversation, and you're bringing the attention back on things that have lost attention in recent years because they have been nothing but creative. And this is at least something that is creative, the first thing that's creative in a really long time. So I think that a lot of credit needs to be handed out, not only just to creative and the individuals involved in the storylines and the way